This is Energy Perspectives, a weekly podcast produced in Guyana that delves into the developments unfolding in the world's fastest growing economy.
Hi there. I'm Kiana Wilberg, CEO of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo. We're coming to you from day 2 of this exciting forum, which has brought together over 2,000 industry leaders, government officials, and civil society actors for critical discussions on Guyana's future and how our resources can be leveraged for the greater benefit of the region. An important topic that has been brought to the table for discussion over these period of 2 days is how technology and AI can truly help Guyana build a sustainable future. One of the distinguished speakers on this topic is Mr. Aly Orady, founder and chief technology officer at Tonal. Mr. Orady, welcome to our program. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So tell us a bit about Tonal and your role there.
Well, I'm the founder of Tonal. I started the company in 2016, so almost nearly 10 years ago. I ran the company for about 8 years as CEO and grew it to about $1 billion of total sales. Built a $1 billion brand, grew it to about 700 employees at its peak, kind of growing and shrinking with market demand. And then about 2 years ago, I started to transition out of the business. We brought in private equity type of CEO, and I transitioned into technology, built the next generation architectures, and now I'm spending actually most of my time outside the company, focused on artificial intelligence, which I think is the most exciting thing going on in the world right now.
Why is that so?
It's First of all, I started my career in the late '90s in Silicon Valley, like when the internet was coming of age. I lived through the growth of cloud computing and mobile computing. I've witnessed how technology disrupts entire sectors and reshapes the world. I have never seen anything progress at the same pace as AI, and I think the progress is surprising even the researchers who are working on the technology. They're often running experiments, not knowing what the result's going to be, and being surprised by the results. And by some estimates, as a result of this reshaping of the world, 85% of the jobs of the future don't exist yet, is what some people are estimating. And so I think it's just a really exciting time because in entrepreneurship, change means opportunity.
I think that's a really interesting perspective there. AI is certainly a moving force, and many governments across the Caribbean region, they're looking to this new instrument, this new means as to how they can leverage that to build more sustainable economies. But what is your take? How can governments actually approach this?
Well, I think it obviously it changes from economy to economy and government to government. I think for economies that are energy rich, for instance, I think one of the most strategic things is the fact that AI is actually a very energy hungry technology. And so the amount of energy consumption by data centers, which is where AI is running and is hosted, is expected to grow 3 to 5x in the next 5 years. Just massive growth in energy use driven by AI. So economies that are energy rich have a strategic advantage globally because these data centers need to be built where the energy is. That's one. I think the other thing is AI has been moving so quickly. It's challenging from a regulatory perspective for regulation to even keep up with it. And in some cases, the governments can't keep up. In other cases, the industry is actually asking for more regulation. And so I think an economy that can be nimble, or a government that can be nimble with regards to regulation and create space for AI to exist in their society, I think can be a big beneficiary of this change that's coming.
One of the things we heard on day 2, the morning of day 2 of the Guyana Energy Conference, is that we are going to be an incredible producer of energy over the next 3 to 4 years. We expect to have 6 FPSOs producing about 1.3 million barrels of oil and gas resources. Now, with this massive production output, we do have at our fingertips the resources to get into the field of data mining. Can you tell us, first of all, what are some of the pros of having data mining, and how do you see Guyana, that approach Guyana can take towards that particular area?
Yeah, I mean, the presentations this morning were very just eye-opening from that regards, because we're talking about 300 megawatts of production coming online first, with followed by a second phase of another 300 megawatts. When we were talking about building data centers, we're talking about data centers that can consume anywhere from 100 to 500 megawatts of energy for a day. So we're talking about massive amounts of data consumption for this energy consumption for this really energy hungry technology. But the prices that were being projected are actually some of the lowest in the world as well. And one of the advantages of AI, because it's so compute heavy, so much computation involved, that the people who need to do the computation, because we have the internet and there's connectivity all over the world, it almost doesn't matter what country you do the computation in. If you need to spend tens of megawatts training a new AI model, you send a copy of the data to that country, you train the AI model, which can take weeks or months, and then you take the results and you copy them back to wherever the researchers are. So in some ways, it doesn't matter where in the world it is, as long as it's available, which we're finding it's not available in a lot of places, and it's cost effective. But when it comes to regulation, I think there are opportunities. Data sovereignty, the idea of sending my data to another country. Well, laws that clarify who owns that data, whose jurisdiction is it under, I think is very, very important. I think also we also know that distribution losses, like the cost of moving electricity from the power plant to the data center, is a big deal. And so a lot of these new data centers want to be constructed near generation. But in a lot of countries, they're actually facing regulatory pressure because they don't have the flexibility of a nation state that's building from the ground up. So there's just a lot of opportunity, and it's exciting.
Thank you so much. I want to wrap up our discussion. Guyana is heading towards a digital transformation that includes, as I mentioned, data mining. What are some of the essential ingredients to ensure our success on this path?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, I moved to Silicon Valley in the late 90s when the internet was coming of age. And one of the things that I noticed was that those companies that were being built from the ground up for the internet were far more successful than those companies that tried to adapt to the internet, often unsuccessfully. Right? And so the fact that so much of what's being built is new and can be built for an AI-first economy is a huge opportunity. And this is just like countries that went straight to mobile phones and didn't lay out all the copper infrastructure for landline telephones. Some countries don't even know what I'm talking about, right? What are landlines, right? They went straight to mobile. And so when I think about being an AI-first economy, I'm thinking about the way education is being done, what this new generation is being prepared for when we talk about a future where 85% of jobs don't exist yet. How are we going to train them to understand AI and be able to leverage it, but also be nimble and agile in their ability to reshape their careers with a very fast-paced technology? What are those essential skills? We think about regulatory frameworks to attract foreign investment and foreign talent. I think these are some of the essential building blocks.
Excellent. So based on that answer, it's safe to assume that with the right tools, Guyana has the potential to be not just a participant, but we can also be a leader.
I'm confident of that. I mean, you can definitely be a leader within the CARICOM region, and given the price of energy that I heard about today and the regulatory nimbleness, I think can be a global force without a doubt. It's our opportunity, it's Guyana's opportunity to seize, right? And I think the decisions that we make today are going to decide whether these become opportunities or challenges. AI will reshape the world, and change is opportunity. It's ours to seize.
Thank you so much, Mr. Orady. Thank you as well to our audience. Please continue to stay tuned as we bring you more insights from thought leaders here and around the world who are visiting Guyana for the Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo.
Thank you for listening to the Guyana Energy Perspectives podcast. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast.